Good evening or good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the JB Claret YouTube channel. It's me, JB, back again. 3.5 weeks I've been away from the commentary box. I'll just to inform you why I've not been around for a while. I've been ill. Is the honest truth with that, and it has been very tough going for me. So after 3 weeks away, we are back. We are back with a bang. We're back with a vengeance, and I for one can't wait to get going. And I have to tell you that it's a marvellous occasion. Burnley and Cardiff taking on each other at the bottom end of the Premier League table. This really is going to be an absolute classic, I think, today. Burnley, if they win, they are virtually safe. They have won their last 2 games, so this is a real opportunity, really, for Burnley. If they can get 3 crucial points, that will go very much towards them staying in the Premier League. It's a game that's it's got a lot of I think it's going to be an absolute humdinger. And I can't wait to get started again back in the commentary box. I won't be reading out any comments today, but what I will be doing is going through the 2 teams, checking the scores as we get them. The teams are about to set off. Referee today's Mike Dean. Let's just run through the sides very quickly. Let's start with Burnley's 11. Heaton in goal. Back 4, Lawton in for the injured Bardsley. Tarkowski being Taylor. Henrik on the right. Neil on the left. Westwood and Cork in the central positions. Midfield positions. Barnes and Wood up front. Cardiff City, Etheridge, Peltier, Morrison, Manga, Bennett, Gunnarsson, Arta, Junior Hoylett, Camarasa, Murphy and Sahore. As I say, referee Mike Dean, he has refereed, sent off 99 people in the Premier League, sent off 99 players before. Still looking to make 100 as a referee in the Premier League, as Burnley kick off, attacking the goal to our right, which is the cricket field stand. So just to confirm, Heaton will play in goal. It is a back 4 with Taylor at left back, me and Tarkowski the 2 central players, and Lawton at right. Back in then it's Henrik on the right, Westwood and Cork the 2 central midfielders, with McNeil on the left, and up front Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood, who scored a couple of goals between them at Bournemouth last week. Cardiff are playing a 4-2-3-1 as the long kick comes forward up towards Wood. It's Etheridge in goal for the Bluebirds, and then it's a back 4 of Peltier at right back, Morrison and Menga the 2 central defenders, and Bennett at left back, Gunnarsson and Arthur the 2 holding midfielders, with Hoylett, Camarasa and Murphy the 3 further forward. Hoylett on the left and Murphy on the right, and Tahori will lead, was a lone striker up front. And an early chance here for Burnley on the far side, a 3 kick given against Cardiff, who are in the change shirts of white. Foul on Dwight McNeil. Neil Warnock, in fact, in the build-up to this game, has been charged by the Football Association for his outspoken comments after Cardiff's controversial defeat at Chelsea a couple of weeks back. And of course he had more to say about that afterwards. Well, we played 90 seconds, and it's Dwight McNeil over the 3 kick for Burnley. Not too many forward in Claret and Blue, but it's a real opportunity. The boy he's hoisted in there towards Ben Mee at the back post. Chance in there off the post from 6 yards. He was Chris Wood, who should have scored there, and Cardiff survive. Burnley really taking the fight, and McNeil now down the left hand side, whipping the Cardiff out for pace, and the ball in towards Wood. It's a goal kick to the Welsh side, but Chris Wood should have scored there. Lovely chip in. Ben Mee there, causing all sorts of problems on the edge of the 6-yard box on the far side. In fact, it came off a Cardiff defender, and Wood really just needed to hit the net, and he hit the post. A real escape there for Neil Warnock's men. In the first couple of minutes, Chris Wood with a free header, and it didn't come away. Last night Newcastle won surprisingly at Leicester, but they deserved it on the balance of play. They played really well. And earlier today at the new White Hart Lane, Spurs winning very comfortably by 4-0 against already relegated Huddersfield Town. Of course, Fulham and Huddersfield, since we last spoke, have both recently been relegated from the Premier League, and if Cardiff don't get positive results in the next 2 games, then they could be going down themselves. A win for Burnley, incidentally, would take them to 39 points and would take them well clear of Cardiff in that particular battle, which means it would be a 3-way tussle in essence between Cardiff, Brighton, who they actually face in midweek, and Southampton. But we'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Southampton at home to Wolves this afternoon. Wolves beaten in that classic FA Cup semi-final on Sunday by a resilient Watford by 3-2. One of the great turnarounds as the ball comes away, and it's intercepted there by Jeff Henrick, the Irish international, and header won by Morrison for Cardiff. Little battle on the far side between Peltier and McNeil. Could be a real feature of the game this afternoon. This is Henrick. He went down there, the referee telling him to get up. It did look a foul to me. I think Cardiff have got away with one there, but here come Cardiff on the break, but it's Lowton to hook it out, and it will be a corner, I think, to the Welsh side. But I felt Burnley should have had a 3 kick just inside the Cardiff half. And Mike Dean, well, let's have a look. Yes, he stripped over and Gunnarsson's fouled him there. Referee was not 2 yards away and didn't see it. Really poor decision there by the referee. And Cardiff, because of it, have got themselves a corner they should not have been entitled to have. They've taken it short. Burnley were caught napping there. Ball to the edge of the area, little chip in there towards the penalty area. Burnley just need to get themselves out of the situation they're in at the moment. There's space here on this side here as the cross comes in, and it gets a little deflection. The ball comes and it's out for a goal kick, thankfully for Burnley. Camarasa making the break, or number 11, sorry, Murphy making the break on the Cardiff left hand side. 5 minutes gone here at the turf. Burnley 0, Cardiff City 0. Remember, Cardiff are 5 points above the from safety to the 5 points below that dreaded dotted line. Burnley with a win could take them well clear there. 11 points above the drop zone they could potentially be if they win today, because they've got 4 very, very difficult games. They've got coming up Chelsea, Manchester City, Spurs, and not Spurs, Everton and Arsenal in that order in the next few games. So it's important to get 3 today. Burnley really takes the pressure, and if they can nick a draw in any of the last 4 games, then 40 points would be a great achievement again for Sean Dyche's team, considering the horrendous first half of the season they actually had, when I think they gained only 10 points from the first half of fixtures, and they've gained something like nearly 30 points so far in the second half of the season. Unbeaten in 2. Prior to that, they'd lost their last 4. Had a good win against Wolverhampton Wanderers a couple of weeks ago, and then fell behind early doors against Bournemouth last week for an own goal by Ashley Barnes, and then came back fantastically well and played some real swashbuckling football. Anyway, latest scores we've got at the moment at the Cottage. It's earlier today it was Tottenham 4, Huddersfield 0. Southampton have taken the lead against Wolves, so that's bad news really for Cardiff City. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Bournemouth 0. South Coast derby there, Dorset against Sussex, and it's Fulham 0, Everton 0 at the moment in time. So 3 other games, and we'll keep you informed with all of those. Gunnarsson does take 1 throw-in, so it's 1-1 for Cardiff on the edge of level with the edge of the Burnley penalty area. Remember, he caused all the confusion in the Iceland-England game in Euro 2016, where it led to an equalising goal. But his throw is not effective because Ben Mee was able to clear this time for Burnley. Ball flicked on by Barnes, looking for the run of McNeil, and then the ball hooked back towards the Filipino half Filipino-born goalkeeper Neil Etheridge. He plays his football, in fact, for the Philippines. But he is as English as he does have an English accent, as good as as broad as mine. But he is Filipino and plays his international football for the Philippines. As Taylor nicks the ball away from Hoylett, gets the ball forward up towards Henrik. His first touch wasn't the best. Well, it took a miracle to control that inch perfect from a great height, as that one ball was played forward by Taylor. Probably hit too much oomph on that and come away again. And the ball out of play. It's a Burnley throw in. Ashley Barnes in the thick of the action. Scored at both ends really last week. Well, that looked a clear push there by Morrison. And I'm going to say the referee Mike Dean, he has given a free kick actually. So a real opportunity here for Burnley to exploit again from the set pieces. This is going to be their biggest strength, I feel. Set piece didn't come to much there as Henrik plays the ball back towards the far post. Barnes controls, but his laid back was poor. And out for a throw. Here's McNeil now, crossing in towards the penalty area. And nodded behind for a corner. If I do take little breaks off the mic for a second, it's just to cough a little bit. I still haven't got rid of the cough. So apologies if I keep switching the mic on and off between commentary quarters, because it's important that I just make sure I clear my throat. Burnley in the meantime, I've got a corner, Westwood to take it from the far side. First goal's going to be crucial. Westwood right-footed into the 6-yard box. A real crowd scene. Etheridge had got there. No foul on the goalkeeper, but Etheridge had just done enough there in the Cardiff City goal, and then the ball pumped back, and Etheridge will take possession inside his area and just calm everything down there. But actually Westwood, who scored direct from a corner at Anfield, was putting the chain check against Neil Etheridge there. No, definitely no foul there on the goalkeeper. In fact, he did well there, the Filipino goalkeeper. Did really well there, actually, I have to say. Etheridge. Very underrated goalkeeper. Has kept Cardiff in most of the games this season. And has really been an unsung hero for the Bluebirds in some respects. 10 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Cardiff 0. All the other 3 o'clockers are still 0-0 incidentally. Well, apart from Southampton against Wolves, by the way. Burnley could go, as I say, 11 points above the relegation zone with a win. They are 15th in the table. They were 14th yesterday, but Newcastle winning at Leicester has sort of put them back down a place, as the free kick comes into the edge of the penalty area and the ball knocked away. It comes to Gunnarsson now, and Gunnarsson comes away. I won't be reading any comments because I'm busy with other things at the moment. When I will get a break in play or half time and whatever, we will read some of the comments that's been read. But here's Cardiff now down the left hand side. They've won a throw in off Wilton. Junior Hoylett, the former you know who, has been roundly booed by 3/4 of this stadium. Here's Bennett to take the throw in on the left hand side for Cardiff, just inside, midway inside the Burnley half of the field on the near side. This is Bennett again, receiving the ball back from the throw in. Plays it back to Hoylett, and Hoylett now plays it to Camarasa rather, and the ball given away here, and a chance here for Wood. He's got Barnes to his well, he had Barnes to his left. That Wood just tried to do too much, and Manga rather came back and stopped him in his tracks there midway inside the Cardiff half. 11.5 minutes gone, still 0-0 here at the turf. Ball back with Etheridge now for Cardiff. And the kick long comes forward again. Remember, Southampton 1, Wolves 0. And that's not good news for Cardiff. If they were to lose, Southampton would move further away, and if Brighton were to win as well, would make Cardiff's task that little bit more tougher. Ball out towards the far side. A real opportunity here for the shot, and it was Hoylett's shot from the right hand side, but it was well fielded, or rather Murphy, sorry, from the left hand side. It was well fielded anyway by Burnley's goalkeeper captain Tom Heaton. Timed it right on the line. Burnley get a throw at the other end, almost in line with the edge of the Burnley penalty, Cardiff penalty area, I should say. You can tell I've not been commentating for 3 weeks. I've completely lost all sense of timing at the moment, so I do apologise. But I will. Panini is on, and he does say hello. Thank you, Panini. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't tag me in any personal Facebook pages. If you're going to tag me in football related stuff, make sure it's on the to do with the JB Clark YouTube channel and not my personal Facebook account, just to make you aware of that. Earlier today, Spurs won 4-0. Southampton winning at home to Wolves. Brighton and Bournemouth are 0-0, and so too is the game between Fulham and Everton, or relegated Fulham against Everton, who should battle back into some very good form recently. 13 minutes gone. Cardiff have a free kick, and it's going to be Manga to take about 5 yards just inside the Burnley half, and it's floated in towards the Burnley penalty area. Ball flicked back. Arthur knocks it back, but there was an infringement by Morrison, and a free kick to Burnley, which will be quite a relief to the vast crowd. It is a sellout today, so just over 21,000 inside the turf today. And there's Mr. Warnock, not universally liked in these parts because of some dirty tactics he employed when Stan Turner was the Burnley manager, when Warnock was in charge at Sheffield United. He sent Kevin Blackwell to spy on the Burnley dressing room back in 2001, and there was all sorts of commotion as the shot comes in from Ashley Barnes, well held by Neil Etheridge, just on the edge of the area. But he wasn't Stan Turner's cup of tea. He always used to criticise Stan back in the days, and yeah, Neil Warnock can be. People have been waxing lyrical about Warnock for years, but I'm afraid I'm not one of his biggest fans. I think he does overdo it. I don't think he's a great manager. I don't think he's been relegated 3 or 4 times. They keep mentioning his promotions, but how many relegations has he suffered? He took Bury down a few years ago, destroyed a very good team that Stan Turner had. So he's not exactly been a success everywhere he's gone. And people think he's squeaky clean. He's not. And I'm glad actually the FA have taken very strong action against him for his out of order comments after Cardiff's defeat to Chelsea like the other week. And I think, yeah, it was controversial. Zahora feels that he should have had a free kick. Mike Dean will stand no nonsense today, that's for sure. Yeah, it's just a little tussle there with Ben Mee. There's nothing in it there. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Mr. Warnock, I'm sure, will be appealing for everything today. Last time he was here, he was Rotherham's manager, him and Kevin Blackwell, of course. They were beaten 2-0 by Burnley that day. Scott Arfield got one of the goals in a 2-0 win for the Clarets, as Cardiff come forward with a real opportunity there inside on the edge of the penalty area, and it was just wide from Murphy with his left foot. So just a little warning sign here for Burnley that Cardiff are not here to make up any numbers in particular. Just gets it onto that left foot there, Murphy. Just misses the left hand post by a good 2 or 3 yards. It wasn't too far wide, but it wasn't troubling the scorers. But a little warning shot there for the Clarets. And this is not going to be an easy afternoon by any stretch of the imagination. Point for Burnley actually would not be the most disastrous result in the world, but I'm sure Sean Dyche will be looking for all 3 at the moment. Still 1-0 to Southampton elsewhere, but that's the only goal of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. But Spurs were very resounding 4-0 winners, and have really settled into their new home very, very well. I have to say that Cardiff players are just taking breaks. There's an injury, I think, and that's why they're all taking lubricants on board. It's a nice day, but it's deceptively cold in Lancashire today. There's about 6 or 7 degrees Celsius here in Lancashire this afternoon. So it is quite deceptively coldish. bit of a clash there with Wood. Peltier was the man involved. Cardiff fans have travelled up the M4 and the M5 and M6 here today. But the Burnley fans are in great voice as well. There were flags flying at the start and goodness knows what, but the atmosphere is superb, and if Burnley could just nick a win here today, 39 points in most Premier League seasons is more than enough for teams to stay in it. Newcastle are just about there themselves after last night's surprise result against a very informed Leicester City side who have really picked up some terrific form under Brendan Rodgers recently, including a very good victory here at Turf Moor with 10 men the other week. So Newcastle really showing their worth. Free kick to Cardiff on just prior to halfway. Mike Dean just being a little bit picky with one or two of his decisions, because he just didn't need to do that. It was a little bit daft there from the centre back. Zaha wasn't really going anywhere. Cardiff are trying to nick a good 15 yards from the free kick, but it's definitely 5 yards inside their own half, the free kick where the offence took place, and as much as Manga can try, it's still inside their own half as he floats that in towards the edge of the area. Well won in fact by Tarkowski, and the ball put back again. Tarkowski to win the second ball, and Burnley defending really stoutly here at the moment, but Manga has it now for Cardiff. Still 0-0. The Welsh side pressing. This is Bennett now on the left hand side, goes back in field, and they're having a little bit of possession here, the Bluebirds, at the moment. Force home by Vincent Tan. Get Manga back to Etheridge, who's made a couple of good saves, especially when he was in trouble from that Westwood corner. He did really well. Has been beaten by a Woodheader that bounced off the bottom of the left hand post, but here come Cardiff again. A bit of space here on that far side here, and real problems here for Burnley. Ben Mee getting a good header in as the cross came in. It was Murphy's cross, and a little bit of a danger sign there for Burnley. This is Bennett. At the moment the ball not breaking for the Clarets. It'll break though for Tom Heaton inside the area as that ball was deflected forward. And Burnley now just slacking up a little bit, and that's a little bit of a worrying sign as Tarkowski goes past one man. Feeds back Lowton in for the injured Phil Bardsley, and Lowton's cross, it's a little bit poor, but it might break for McNeil on the far side, on the left hand side. Dwight McNeil now. Need to get him on the ball a bit more. Burnley have forced a corner. A little bit better from the Clarets, who were a bit below par in the first 10 minutes at Bournemouth last week, and then just all of a sudden after going behind just purred into action and were unstoppable on the day. 20.5 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. It's Burnley 0, Cardiff 0, in a game that either team can ill afford to lose, as Westwood swings the corner in, and it's on the roof of the net this time. Maybe he needs to put that in towards the edge of the 6-yard box instead of trying to repeat the sort of goal he got against Liverpool a few weeks ago. Great moment for Burnley, despite in defeat. It's detectively cold. There's a Cardiff fan there with his Cardiff scarf round his ears. The sun has now come out here above the hills and the skyline of some wonderful little Lancashire town, Mill Town of course, my own birthplace, and proud to be proud to be from these parts. Swap it for the Welsh Villas any day, as the long ball comes forward once again, and the ball should break to Tom Heaton quite kindly. Indeed it does. Good defending there by Tarkowski. Kept Zaha, or rather Taylor, kept Zaha well and truly in his pocket as we approach the halfway mark here at the Turf. But the Clarets game live from there, and it's Burnley 0, Cardiff 0. Elsewhere, Southampton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, and Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Bournemouth 0, and Fulham 0, Everton 0, as Tarkowski cuts the ball out, feeds Jeff Henrik, and now Wilton making a run down the left hand side. Now McNeil takes possession. This wonderful 19-year-old who's having an impressive season has gone into the England youth setup and is forced another corner here And this is the sort of form that we saw last week in the game against Bournemouth, where he just absolutely tore Nathaniel Klein apart in a lot of areas, and he's looking to do the same to Peltier. Now, if Burnley can make one of these set pieces count, they're in business. Dwight McNeil is starting to, after a quiet first 5 or 10 minutes, he's starting to have a little bit of an influence on the game. Now then, will Westwood get a good corner here towards the 6-yard box? Ben Mee was lurking with an opportunity, but Cardiff had sufficient numbers back behind the ball. Burnley still have it though. The ball fed in again. They're trying to get Emmerich away on the right. Can he keep that in? Yes, is the answer. Now, what about the cross? It's not the best, but it's towards the edge of the area. Shot comes in and over the top from Dwight McNeil with the left foot rather, into the Cardiff City fans behind Neil Etheridge's goal, and it still remains goalless. A little bit fortunate the ball to come to Henrik there. Worked a miracle to keep it in play. The cross wasn't the best. McNeil did really well. First touch to control, second bit of a casual shot in the end. Toe poked it over the top. And to be fair, it wasn't quite far away. Still the Clarets nil, the Bluebirds nil here in this Clarets game, live from the turf on the JB Claret YouTube channel. There's a Cardiff player gone down. It's Gunnarsson, I think, the Iceland man, who's the international teammate. Johan Berg Gunnarsson is amongst the substitutes. Well, there was nothing in that at all. I think Gunnarsson was play acting a little bit. Barnes didn't go in there too hard, and I think Gunnarsson play acted a bit and gave the referee that option to do that. And I think he's overdoing it a bit. I think Gunnarsson is the sort of player that will play act. They don't like it. Well, I think Mike Dean's been conned there by the theatrics of Mr. Gunnarsson. Supposedly tough cookie, but I think he played on that a little bit there, the Iceland man. I honestly think that free kick to Cardiff, a very cheap free kick, I felt. I didn't think it was a free kick. I thought Barnes went for the ball fairly and squarely, and because of the theatrics of Gunnarsson, I think the referee has bought that free kick. And yeah, they're trying to nick yards here, Cardiff, which is absolutely preposterous. Anyway, the free kick has gone short to Manga, and now the ball will be hitting towards the Burnley penalty area. There was a little bit of clear pushing and shoving there by a Cardiff player, and again the referee didn't spot that, and I think that was a disgraceful piece of refereeing there from Mike Dean. Anyway, here's Ashley Barnes trying to get on the end of the ball as Wood tried to flick it forward. Next header's won by Tarkowski inside his own half. Now Bennett to win it deep inside Cardiff territory. What are games of tennis from one half of the field to the other at the moment. Need to get McNeil and Taylor on a bit more, I think, down the left hand side. This is where I think Burnley could do the most damage. They do look a little bit unbalanced down the right hand side, I will admit that, but if you're winning at the moment, you're not, and it's not broke, just don't fix it. And Cardiff City get a decision. I think it's a free kick. Let's have a look again. It's Peltier involved. Well, I think that's a free kick to Burnley. Taylor got the ball. I think that's a poor decision. I think that should be a Burnley free kick. What is Mr. Dean playing at? He's not had a good first 26 minutes in my book. Still 0-0, but he's made some iffy decisions in Cardiff's favour. There was a lot of eyebrows raised when he was appointed the referee for this one, but a real opportunity now for Burnley. Emery Westwood shoots and he's in it straight at Etheridge. Ashley Westwood should have scored there. That was the big chance Burnley were hoping for. The referee's played on. There is a Cardiff player down, but it's not an head injury, so Burnley are well within their rights to play on, and now Cardiff will try to knock it out of play, which they've succeeded in doing so, but they've... Oh, for God's sake, referee! Oh my goodness me! I know the Cardiff player's injured, but for God's sake, it's not an head injury. Mike Dean, don't be stupid. It's Junior Hoyland, he's clearly up. He's play acted again, and Burnley have been stopped in full flight by another piece of Cardiff cheating. And another piece of play acting, nothing wrong with it all. Good challenge by Tarkowski, and Junior Hoylett clearly play acting. Absolute joke from the Cardiff City lads. But just looking at the chance here for Westwood, should have hit it either side of Etheridge. I think he scored in the win against Bournemouth last week, but that was a big chance for Burnley. They should have gone in front there. How Cardiff still in this game is one of life's mysteries. And they have play acted a couple of times, Cardiff, which I don't like at all. It's called gamesmanship, and I'm dead against that. That's a Burnley throw-in. And Gunnarsson and Wood having a little set to. And Gunnarsson really, he's full of himself. I don't like Gunnarsson. The way he acts, and you know, his play acting there is absolutely... Oh, Barr's now getting involved. Tensions are flowing, but Gunnarsson's asking for trouble for me. He's play acting earlier on, and now he's trying to get involved with Chris Wood. I would advise it. I mean, Chris Wood is not a volatile character, but Gunnarsson is an absolute... Let's have a look. Well, Gunnarsson started it for me. He pushed Wood quite clearly when he was trying to defend himself. I think Gunnarsson should be in the book. Anyway, Burnley have a throw. Middle for Cardiff. It'll come to Lawton on the right hand side, deep inside Cardiff half, but he has to go back to halfway. Now then, Ben Mee can't dawdle on this. Hits it forward. It'll flick on. Will it fall for Burnley now on the right hand side? It will be a Burnley throw in. Wolves have equalised incidentally at Southampton, so good news in relation to Cardiff. Still 0-0 in the other game, affecting the bottom end of the table between Brighton and Bournemouth, who are not out of the woods yet. Bournemouth, even though they sort of jacked it in a little bit on their own patch last week, as Taylor goes down, and a free kick to Burnley. At long last, the referee got one right. And the referee here needs to start taking action against one or two of the Cardiff players, because I feel that they are up to... I mean, this is disgraceful from Peltier. I mean, he's clearly pushed him over there. That's an absolute clear foul. I mean, it would have been a great tackle in rugby, but they forget it's not rugby they're playing, it's football. So Burnley have a free kick. Is there a goal in the offing here for the Clarets? Free kick, a big moment in the game. 30 minutes gone here. McNeil and Westwood, the two-man committee. The ball played into the 6-yard area, and everyone went in. And what an opportunity there. I think it's another corner. But Westwood there with a great free kick. And Etheridge just got a little finger on it. And Burnley here having a real opportunity. Southampton have retaken the lead incidentally in the game at St Mary's. It's Southampton 2, Wolves 1. Again, bad news for Cardiff. Burnley have a corner on the right hand side of the field. They're building up ahead of steam. It's Dwight McNeil to take it with his right foot into the penalty area. Right hand, goal! Goal for Burnley! And even more bad news for Cardiff, but great news for the Clarets. Chris Wood has done it again. It's his 12th league goal I make it this season. 31 minutes gone in the turf. The flags are flying. The scarves are being waved around. And Burnley, 31 minutes gone, take the lead at the turf. My word, they've been the better side. They missed two clear-cut chances, but they've taken one now, and Chris Wood makes up for the one he missed. And the star where he hit the bottom of the post. Bad marking from the Cardiff defence. He came in there between 3, maybe 4 static white-shirted defenders. It must have been zonal marking there, the Cardiff lads. But my goodness, Chris Wood ghosted in. And what a perfect header. And what a big goal that is for Clarets. If the scoreline stays as it is, it'll take them to 39 points. And what a thing this could be. And the double whammy for Cardiff is it's 9 goals in the league this season for Wood. I think it's his 12th in all this season. So it's his 9th Premier League goal this season. But I make it 12 for the season in all competitions for Chris. But it's 1-0 to the Clarets. Big scoreline there, but it's a double whammy for Cardiff, because Not only are Burnley winning in this game they're competing in, that Southampton, one of their rivals, have taken a 2-1 lead here. So it's not great news for Cardiff City at all. But to be fair, Burnley have been the better side and have dominated right from the word go. Great header. It was a free header though. It was poorly defended by the Cardiff defence, and boy did they take chances there. 1-0 to Burnley is the scorers. As you've just heard, Burnley in front, and Burnley have a free kick on halfway. Plenty for Neil Warnock's side to do, but his team are only themselves to blame really, and it's not looking great for... Oh my goodness me, what are Cardiff doing? Their discipline is poor. Their discipline is poor. Retaliating, nothing. I don't think Westwood did anything wrong. I think Gunnarsson's starting the whole thing off here. Cardiff should be lucky that they haven't been booked and they haven't had any men booked at all. Let's have a look on the replay. McNeil gets involved. Westwood goes in with a hard tackle. Camarasa reacts, and I think Camarasa should be booked for his reaction there. No doubt about it. Cardiff are looking for retribution. They're looking for anything really to get under Burnley's skins. And thankfully nothing for Westwood. No yellow card. He's not a volatile player, but Neil Warnock must be absolutely disgusted with his team's conduct here today. I'm sorry, but Westwood is not a volatile player. Sometimes you've got to you're always going to be in a battle at Burnley. Let's make one thing absolutely crystal clear. Nothing's easy when you come to Turf Moor. It's very hard to get points here, certainly in the second half of the season, as Spurs and a few other teams have found out to their cost. And if you lose your discipline as an away team, then you're on a harding to nothing here at the Turf. And Cardiff are going that way, I'm afraid. Well, and they're only themselves to blame. They've got to keep calm here. It's a big game for them, I know, but it's easy to get drawn in. But Burnley are playing a very good game at the moment. They are the better team. And look at Westwood again in space. Has a chance to make it two, but Heveridge has saved it. Heveridge has saved it. Westwood has had two gilt-edged chances, and Heveridge has just kept his team in the game, in my opinion. Good ball from Barnes. Westwood clearly through. Should have gone towards the right, I feel. And Etheridge made himself big, to be fair, and if it wasn't for the Filipino, Burnley would have been out of sight. Cardiff are on the rack and are in danger here of being absolutely taken to the cleaners here by the Clarets towards the near post. That corner comes in, and still a chance for Cork, and a long range effort from James Tarkowski, or Robert Taylor of all people, goes into the cricket field standing behind. But how Cardiff are not more than 1-0 down is one of life's big mysteries, as I think it was Ben Mee was trying the overhead kicking in amongst that melee inside the penalty area. Cardiff escaped with a goal kick. And it still remains 1-0. I do give the score every 4 or 5 minutes, so please don't ask what the score is every 2 minutes, because I'm telling you now it's 1-0, and I've said that now for the last 4 or 5 minutes. You know that. Listen to the commentary and listen carefully. Bournemouth have taken the lead against Brighton. That's bad news for Brighton, who need to win themselves. But here's a chance inside the area, and it's over the top, and it was Junior Hoylett, I think, who had the shot. Cut inside. It was Hoylett. A little bit poor there, the Clarets defence. But Junior Hoylett is an absolute disgrace of a footballer for obvious reasons, and he has been play acting a little bit in the first half. And it's not my Burnley bias coming out. I just don't think he's a very good player. The goal kick is taken, and it remains 1-0 thankfully to the Clarets, and the better team are winning. Here's Westwood forward, and a chance here now for a cross here for Wood, away from Mangala, but it comes to Henrik, who shoots, and shoots just wide of the far side upright, the left hand upright, and a goal kick to Cardiff. It was Walton's cross, incidentally. Came to Henrik here. There was two in the area. Could have kept his head there and played a cross in there rather than try the shot. Elsewhere, Bournemouth winning at Brighton, and that fuels the fire for Bournemouth, because that win, if they hang on there, they'll certainly stay in the Premier League again for another season. But that result at the Amex at the moment, that score at the Amex, will encourage Cardiff. Brighton will still be 5 points above the drop zone as things stand if the results stay as they are. But Southampton are doing some good for themselves, winning 1-0, 2-1 against Wolves, who look like they're still hungover from that shock cup defeat to Watford in the semi-finals last week. They blew a 2-0 lead, you may remember, in that game. Although I think Watford were very lucky to get a penalty. I thought Deeney dived a little bit and conned the referee, but it was given. Good penalty under pressure, mind you. In the game at Craven Cottage, just to remind you, it's 0-0 between already relegated Fulham and Everton, who are going very well at the moment, in good form under Marco Silva, winning some good games again, and certainly against Arsenal as well. Big feather in their cap the other week as well, for Everton, winning at Goodison Park there. But Burnley winning in the game that really matters here, the game that we're focusing on, 1-0. The goal scorer Chris Wood after 31 minutes, and Etheridge will take the goal kick, kick it out of his hands for the Bluebirds, and it wasn't a great kick from the Filipinos. Saves have kept Burnley in it, but well, I don't know, there was a bit of pushing and shoving there, and I think that was I didn't think it was an offside decision there against Ashley Barnes. Would like to see a replay of that again. Cardiff have had the favourable decisions. I think 2 or 3 of their players, for the dissent and the disrespect they've shown the Clarets today, I think 2 or 3 of them should be in the book for their ill discipline. But apart from one or 2 half chances, they've not really brought much to the table, really, as far as I'm concerned. As Etheridge sends that free kick in again, good discipline Burnley defending, and then McNeil just boots it out. A play for a throw in on the far side. I've not really been impressed with Cardiff at all in this game, but there you go. Sunderland 1, Coventry 3. A little uncertainty about Coventry's future now that it's been confirmed that they won't be playing at the Ricoh Arena next year, so they're going to have to find alternative arrangements for next season. Otherwise the football club, with over 120 odd years of history behind it, could be banished to the history books, and that would be a shame. That's surely got to be a free kick for a foul inside the area on Barnes to Burnley, inside the Burnley penalty area, by the way, by Harry Harter, because it was again another rugby tackle. Big in Wales, of course, rugby, but it's not rugby they're playing today. It's football, and 1 or 2 of the tackles are bordered on the rugby style. But the scoreline that matters is Burnley 1, Cardiff 0. Chris Wood's goal after 31 minutes is the difference. Fulham 0, Everton 0. So earlier today, Spurs won quite easily against Huddersfield by 4 goals to 0. Sets them up well for that second leg on Wednesday night against Manchester City in the Champions League, a game a quarter-final which they're leading 1-0 in. But here come Cardiff again, but Charlie Taylor getting back there for the oh my goodness me, Mike Dean, that's a crazy decision from the referee, and I've got to tell you, that is a poor decision. Tarkowski's just using his strength, and again the Cardiff theatrics are out in force. That's not a free kick. Look at that. It's a clear dive. It's a clear dive from Murphy, and the referee has been conned. And there's, oh my goodness me, what a pathetic decision from Mike Dean. That is an awful decision from the referee, and if that costs Burnley, then I think it's a goddamn rank decision. Murphy is looking for it. He's going down even before Tarkowski tugs him, and I think that's a disgrace. And 2 or 3 Cardiff players who should be in the book for worse than misdemeanours have got away with it, and that I find disgraceful. This is why I doubted Mike Dean as a referee. We've got 3 minutes to go to half time, And Cardiff have a situation that they're very lucky to get. And Aaron Gunnarsson does take a good set piece, as we all know. But it's going to be a free kick, and it's over the top anyway, so justice has been done. I think it was Bennett with the left foot that hit the effort over the top, thank goodness. It wasn't the best free kick in the world. And it's behind for a goal kick. It wasn't far away, but it wasn't troubling the scorers, and I think it was wide of the target in any case. So maybe a little bit of justice was done, but it was a very, very poor decision by Mr. Dean, I'm afraid. Sunderland 2, Coventry City 3. Says Panini. So lots of goals in that game. But we're concentrating on Premier League. We'll do a full classified check at 5 o'clock there. I do apologise for the mobile phone nearly coming off the commentary desk. As Chris Wood has it down on the right hand side for the Clarets, just dropping in a little bit now. We've got about 2 minutes of normal time to play at the end of the first half. Burnley leading, and deservedly so. They've been the better team in terms of creativity and chances created. There should have been more than 2 goals up. They've got to throw in. The ball did cross the line on the near side, and it is looking very troublesome for Cardiff. The only saving grace at the moment is Bournemouth are doing them a favour by beating Brighton at the Amex, so it's 1-0 there. Southampton winning 2-1, of course, and a free kick, another cheap free kick again. How many more silly decisions is Mike Dean going to give? That was never a free kick by Tarkowski. I think the yellow card was unjustifiably undeserved. I don't think the referee's had his fine as 45 minutes this season, I'm afraid. Let's hope he doesn't award his 100th red card to a Burnley player. That would be really rubbing salt into the wound. We're inside the last minute of normal time now. Earlier today, Spurs won 4-0 against a very poor Huddersfield side. Remember, they've already been relegated. They'll be playing Championship football next season. Southampton are doing themselves real favours there by beating Wolves by 2-1. But Brighton are not doing themselves any favours. They're losing to Bournemouth 1-0, which is a little bit of good news for Cardiff in some respects. And at the Craven Cottage it remains 0-0. Manchester United play at 5:30, incidentally. But we're now 10 seconds away from the 45 as we tick very much towards the stoppage time period. We'll glance towards the 4th official and find out how long there is left. 2 extra minutes, incidentally, at the end of the first half. Cardiff City throw in deep inside their own territory, about 5 yards from their own quadrant on the near side. They're left as they're attacking the Jimmy Mac in the first half. Jimmy McElroy end of the late great Jimmy McElroy. There's a stand named after him back in 1999 as Barnes goes forward. Surely a foul there by Bennett, and Bennett now, oh, Barnes, don't get involved, Ashley, don't get involved. But Bennett's challenge was poor, and Bennett will be very lucky, in fact, if he sees a yellow for that. Cardiff are looking for trouble here. Yellow card, quite right. At last, Mr. Dean, you've got something right. Ashley Barnes, just stay away, don't get too involved in it. Oh, he's not calling Barnes over, is he? It will be a disgrace if Barnes gets booked because he was fouled. And Bennett started the whole thing, and if he books Barnes, this is that's disgraceful. And Barnes can feel aggrieved about that. Mike Dean is just trying to write his name all over this. It's definitely Bennett who's the guilty party here. Barnes is fouled, then Bennett goes in there, stands on Barnes, and then Bennett starts headbutting him. Bennett starts the whole thing, and then Barnes gets... Well, you could actually argue that Bennett should be sent off for stamping on Barnes, but Bennett's laid his head into Barnes. So why is Barnes being booked? Mike Dean needs to get his head out the clouds. Never a yellow card, but it is a Burnley free kick, and it's taken by McNeil. It's not a great free kick, but it's straight into the arms of goalkeeper Etheridge. But there should be 3 or 4 Cardiff players in the book, and yet Burnley have got 2 for very, very little offences. I find that bemusing. Mr. Dean needs to get ahead. He's heading his clouds, but there goes the half-time whistle. Burnley are in front. That's the important statistic. So 1-0, 31 minutes when the goal came. Chris Wood with a free-header on the edge of the 6-yard box, nodded it into the middle of the goal. He had earlier missed a chance where, in the first couple of minutes, where he hit the post from point-blank range when it was easier to score. Westwood has had a couple of great opportunities. One he hit straight at Etheridge, went through, and again Etheridge turned the ball away past the left-hand post. Again when Westwood was playing through. Cardiff have had a couple of fleeting moments, but nothing really to test Tom Heaton, who's had a real shot to save. There has been some play acting from the Cardiff players. I think the yellow cards for Tarkowski and Barnes were very harsh, but I think Joe Bennett was definitely deserved. But the better team are winning, there's no doubt about that. Burnley leading by a goal to nil. Elsewhere, earlier today, Spurs won 4-0 against the poor Huddersfield side, who have now been, of course, relegated. At Craven Cottage, it's 0-0, but there has been some developments elsewhere in the games affecting the bottom end of the table. Southampton leading Wolves by 2-1. They take the lead and then were pegged back and then went in front again. And Brighton are losing at the Amex to Bournemouth, their South Coast rivals. So a little bit of hope there for Cardiff in that respect, but they are losing here at the Turf today, quite deservedly so. We're going to take a 10-minute break and then we'll be back with full second half commentary of Burnley against Cardiff. But the half-time situation here, thankfully Burnley are on the right side of things. Burnley lead Cardiff at the break by a goal to nil. See you in 10 minutes. Welcome back to the turf. Burnley 1, Cardiff City 0 is the half-time score. Manchester United play later against West Ham. Big pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They had a defeat the other day against Barcelona in the Champions League. Well, teams are just out on the pitch, ready to go in the second half. Remember, elsewhere, it's Southampton 2, Wolves 1. Bournemouth leading Brighton by a goal to 0. And it's Fulham 0, Everton 0. Redmond has got 2 goals, incidentally, for Southampton. Sean Dyche making his way onto the pitch, making 1 or 2 points there, 1 or 2 gestures. Maybe he's not happy with 1 or 2 aspects of the Burnley performances, but the important thing is the Clarets are a goal up, and that's the important thing at this stage of the season. And if it was to stay the same, Burnley would move to 39 points. With its Cardiff to kick off, attacking the cricket field stand, where a large proportion of their supporters are populated behind Tom Eaton's goal in the second half. Burnley attacking the Jimmy McIlroy stand. Cardiff are in the changed shirts of white with blue shorts and blue socks. Burnley, I tell you, in claret and blue with white shorts and white stockings. Referee Mike Dean just making sure everything's ship-shape in Bristol fashion, and we get underway. He didn't have a particularly good game, so just to remind you of the 2 teams, it's still unchanged for Burnley, so it's Heaton, Lowton, Tarkowski, Mee, Taylor, Henrik, Westwood, Cork, McNeil, Barnes and Wood. Cardiff's 11 is unchanged: Etheridge, Peltier, Morrison, Manga, Bennett, Gunnarsson, Arter, Hoylett, Camarasa, Murphy and Zahora. On the bench, I forgot to tell you that Hart, Gudmundsson, Brady, Gibson, Ward, Vidra and Long are the Burnley's substitutes, as Burnley just clear a long throw in from Gunnarsson away, and that for another throw. For Cardiff, they have Murphy, Rolls, Reed, Cunningham, Mendes Lang and Nias, the former Hull and Everton striker. They're the substitutes, so there's plenty to go at there. Just to remind you of the 2 teams, but it is 1-0 to Burnley as things stand, and the ball comes out to the edge of the Burnley penalty area. Ball flicked in, but again good defending by Ben Mee. Comes to Gunnarsson now, 25 yards from goal. Ball down the Cardiff right hand side as the cross gets a little deflection, but it falls kindly for Tarkowski. Burnley just on the back foot at the start of the second half a little bit, but here come the Clarets now just to relieve a little bit of pressure, a little bit of respite. But Cardiff come back at them again with Bennett, and Bennett in towards Gunnarsson on halfway. And what Burnley must not do is to lose their discipline or their defensive shape, as Cardiff have got away down on the far side there. The ball hooked in. It was a good cross actually by Zahora, but Cardiff are having a little bit of joy at the start of the second half. Ball played back and some good defending. They're looking for handball, Cardiff. It was never. But if you could give a handball for a block from 2 yards out, then you must be. And there must have been off their tiny minds. And a 3 kicker. Now what's he giving here? He's not ordered a penalty, has he? Has he ordered a 3 kick or a penalty here? If he's ordered a penalty, then this is a disgrace. Has he given a penalty? Well, it's a penalty. Well, how can that be from... If he's basically 2 yards away? Mike Dean has had a disgraceful match. The shot comes in. It's clearly down on his hand. That is a poor decision. That is a poor decision from the referee. The linesman. Oh, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. That is a tough decision, and Burnley have every right to feel aggrieved by that. Surely they have to reverse this. I'll tell you what, if VAR was introduced, that would have been turned over. Surely they can't give the penalty to Cardiff. They can't order a penalty to Cardiff. That was... The ball was down, the arms were down by his side here. Now if it's the assistant that is giving it, it's a disgraceful decision. He can't... No, I thought, yes, quite rightly so. I think justice has been done there. Not a penalty. And Cardiff could complain, but the letter of the law is that the ball was by Ben... But I'm afraid it's not handball, because it's ball to hand. He was 2 yards away for starters as the ball was hit. Neil Warnock can complain all he wants, but I think the referee's made the right decision at the end of it all. Ben Mee has his arms down by his side. It's not a penalty. I think the referee, after a lot of diddling and fiddling, has got it right this time. Never a penalty. And Warnock and his chums can complain all he wants, but that's not a penalty. How can you give a penalty when the shot is hit from out about 2 yards away, and Ben Mee has his arms down by his side, so it's ball to hand, it's not a penalty. Why give it in the first place? That's the first thing. Well, I find that baffling. I think Burnley have had a little bit of justice done there, and the yellow cards come out. Warnock will be sent off if he's not careful. Kevin Blackwell as well, he better keep his mouth shut as well. Warnock can complain all he wants, but I think the referees have got it right. Arthur feels aggrieved, but it's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. His arms are clearly down by his side, and when Warnock looks at that again, he'll look a right idiot as far as I'm concerned. Mike Dean's, after much consideration, has got it spot on, and Warnock can complain and moan and all he wants. If he wants to, well, I tell you what, he's already up in front of the dock in the FA. He's risking it even more so now. If he keeps arguing, he will be sent off. I don't think there's much doubt about that. Warnock is absolutely fuming. He's trying to get Kevin Blackwell involved. These two have been at it for years. We still haven't carried on with the game. We don't know what's happening here. It's all a bit of a hoo-ha. It's never a penalty. Hopefully we can get on with the game here. We've wasted about 4 or 5 minutes here with inconsistent refereeing and pointless arguments, really, because Art has been booked for his protest, and I think quite rightly so. It was never a penalty in the first place. So why did Mike Dean give it? That's the first thing I want to ask the question. Peltier has also been booked as Cardiff played the ball in, but it was not a penalty. And Warnock can complain and moan all he wants, but the referee's decision, I think, he came to the right conclusion, although he went about it all around the houses, I have to tell you. But Ben Mee clearly had his arms down by his side. And I tell you what, I think the referee was right in the end, but I think when Warnock looks back at that, he'll look a right prat for that, because it's an absolute disgrace. It's still 1-0 to Burnley. Please stop asking for the score every 2 or 3 minutes. Burnley 1-0. I always keep doing the scores every 2 or 3 minutes, but we had a major incident there. But the score remains 1-0 to Burnley. And here's Dwight McNeil now, plodding down the left-hand channel. Oh, he showed Taylor down the river there, but Ben Mee was able to intercept and in fact win a throw-in. But it's all kicked off big time here in this second half. Was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? In my opinion, the first decision was incorrect. Well, whichever way you look at it, it's not a penalty. If he's headed it against his arm, then I think that's purely accidental. If it's the one that Arthur's hit a shot from 2 yards from, he originally gave, then it's not a penalty either. So neither penalty should have been given there. And I think Mike Dean had a rush of blood to his head, ordered a penalty originally, but then spoke with his linesman, and they came to the right conclusion in the end. And that's going to run out of play for a goal kick. Apologies for the loss of sound again. Plus I had to cough a couple of times as well, because I'm still got a little bit of the virus still there. While we were off, Arthur hit the top of the crossbar whilst we were off the air, and that's a very underwhelming back pass by Ben Mee, which is well picked up from Tom Heaton. But apart from that moment, really, nothing really else to report. This is Dwight McNeil now for the Clarets. I do apologise for the loss of sound. Here's Charlie Taylor on the left hand side. The Clarets leading by a goal to nil, but it is a slender lead. Remember, they had to avoid those penalty shouts in the start of the second half. Elsewhere, it's Southampton 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Bournemouth 1. Fulham have taken the lead against Everton. So a little bit of late season joy for already relegated Fulham, and for Scott Parker, who, if he gets a win here today, will do his chances of getting the Fulham job permanently no harm when they go down into the Championship for next season. Here's Jack Cork to get it away from Burnley from his own half, looking towards Chris Wood. Cardiff trying to appeal handball, which it wasn't. Burnley shouldn't be drawn into Cardiff's dirty tactics at this point in the game. There has been one or two mumblings under the surface. Burnley 1, Cardiff 0. Cardiff have been a disgrace to themselves today, I'm afraid. Trying to win non-existent penalties and trying to con the referee at every opportunity. It has been one of those afternoons where it's going to be tense. I do apologise, as I said, for no sound, but we are back live. But here come Cardiff again. Shot comes in, charged down by Ben Mee. I wonder if those 2 dislikes on the video so far are from Cardiff City supporters. I'm sorry if the commentary is a little bit too biased for you, but unfortunately I am a Burnley lad, born and bred. So I always want my local team to do well. I am a Burnley fan and I want them to do well. But I've not been impressed with the way Cardiff are conducting themselves today. Yes, they are fighting for their Premier League existence, but if that's a penalty, then I'm Mother Teresa, because Ben Mee has his arms clearly down, and I'm sorry, but that's not a penalty. Bournemouth have taken a 2-goal lead in the game at the Amex. Bournemouth 2, Brighton 0. And it's looking bleak for Brighton, so the only drink of light really for Cardiff at this stage of proceedings is that Brighton are losing at the Amex, but Burnley crucially are winning here, and at the moment stand on the brink of almost threshold of 40 points. Didn't look possible at the halfway stage of the season when they were 5 points from safety and beaten 5-1 by Everton, as the ball is tossed into the penalty area once again. Big chances here for Westwood. Burnley now looking to finish the job off here. Here's Henrik now on the far side, the right hand side. He's controlled, just let him down a little bit. Maybe it might be a time to bring on Gunmanson and add a bit more balance to the right hand channel maybe for Burnley at this point in time. We've played an hour, no substitutions made at the moment. Warnock and Blackwell, the 2 of the biggest idiots in the business in my opinion, and they are a couple of con artists in my book after what they did in their Sheffield United days to Stan Turnant, and they'll never be forgiven in these parts for what they did in those days, which is why I don't really hold universal appeal for Neil Warnock in the way he manages way he goes about football. As the shot comes in from 25 yards out, and it's an easy one for Tom Heaton to field from Junior Hoylett. It wasn't particularly well. It was okay. It wasn't really going to trouble Tom Heaton too much. It was a very comfortable save for the Burnley goalkeeper. It would have been a goal that's been ill deserved for Cardiff, because they've been much the worse of the teams, and they're the ones in favour in need of losing their discipline. That is clearly out of play there, and the ball has drifted out of play, and the linesman and the referee have not spotted it. And if Cardiff were to score from that, there will be absolute uproar around these parts, I can tell you now. But here's Gunnarsson now for Cardiff. Burnley have got plenty back. 61 gone. Burnley 1, Cardiff 0. It should be more than the 1 really, in truth. Cardiff have had a penalty chalked off, quite rightly so. And they originally won a penalty, then after consultations with the linesman, the referee ordered a free kick to Burnley instead of a penalty, which I think was the right decision in fairness. Here come Cardiff again with Peltier. Still asking some questions here, the Welsh side. And here's number 11, Murphy. Has created one or two half chances for the Bluebirds. Burnley get it away again. 62.5 minutes gone. Burnley 1, Cardiff City 0. The Clarets game live. Apologies for the 4 minute sound loss earlier on in the second half, but we didn't miss any goals, thankfully, as the header comes in from Charlie Taylor, and Cork chasing that one, but Cardiff hitting it forward. Now they've got Zahor here, who's in an onside position here, and the ball hooked back across and over the top from the penalty spot from Hoylett, and that's a big chance for Cardiff, that, and he's hit it almost out of the stand, almost over the stand rather than over the bar. Black stayed down there. Burnley a little bit slow out of they're trying to play offside. Zahor knocked the ball back, and Hoylett really should really do a lot better there for Cardiff City, but thankfully for Burnley it went over the top, and that's a big chance missed for Cardiff. And if they did score, Cardiff, it would have been totally against the run of play on the balance of the game. Burnley 1-0 up. They are deserving of that lead. They have a throw-in on the far side, 10 yards inside the Cardiff half, as Sean Dyche will throw the ball to one of his players, who will take the throw-in. And Lawton, I think, will take it. Burnley 1-0 ahead. 64 gone. Here's Chris Wood, a real handful of a striker he actually is, and his goal is deciding this. And here's McNeil now. He's got Taylor on the overlap. It's Charlie Taylor for Burnley. The ball hooked in there. The ball is there to be won. Chance inside the 6-yard area, and Chris Wood, in the whistle, had gone anyway. It was kicked off the line. Chris Wood now. What's Mike Dean giving here? I think he's given a free kick to Cardiff. Let's see again on replay. Well, that should be a free kick initially to Burnley. Then Taylor has possession. Was there an offside there? Well, I think he's given it for a foul on Etheridge by Barnes. I think that's a poor decision. I think Mike Dean has had an horrendous game, really, about a couple of decisions. I don't think there was anything in it at all. I think goalkeepers get too much protection. Certainly, you know, Ashley Barnes is a competitive player. You can't take that competitive edge, and you can't take that out of the game. I find that bemusing, that decision again from Mr. Dean. Let's see what's been saying in the comments. It's just basically Benini just giving his opinions on things at the moment, but it still remains 1-0 with 25 minutes to go. Elsewhere it's Fulham 1, Everton 0, Brighton 0, Bournemouth 2, and Southampton 2, Wolves 1. Earlier today, Fulham, or rather Spurs beat a very poor Huddersfield side, who are rock bottom, 4-0, already relegated of course. And later this afternoon, Manchester United take on West Ham at Old Trafford. Big game as far as the top four is concerned for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men, who start the day just outside the top four in that race there. Barnes can't keep it in under pressure from Bennett and Gunnarsson, and Cardiff get the throw. Burnley 1, Cardiff 0. Remember, is the score. Chris Wood's goal after 31 minutes. Looks like deciding everything here. If Burnley win today, 39 points they'll move to, and one off that 40-point mark. But I think 36 to 38 is always going to be enough. Newcastle are virtually safe, having won at Leicester last night. Two big games tomorrow. Crystal Palace against Manchester City, and of course a massive game at Anfield tomorrow between Liverpool and Chelsea at 4:30. What a match that's going to be. And then on Monday night it's Watford, the cup finalists now, taking on Arsenal in a bit of a local derby up there in down there in Hertfordshire. Cardiff City fans now wrapped up, but we discussed the way the team has played. I don't think they've done enough really to be on parity in this match. They haven't been great at all. Here come Burnley again now with Westwood, and they just need to stay on side here. Burnley, the cross comes in and it's a corner. Henrik's attempted cross was charged down, and Burnley have a corner now, so a little bit of respite here for the Chorus, who have just been a little bit defensive minded in this second half, it has to be said. But Westwood, again, positive running by him. He's in a good vein of form, the central midfielder. He's had a fantastic last few games. Actually, Westwood, even when Burnley were playing, they weren't getting the results, Westwood was still having to say things in the midfield area. Now, Dwight McNeil's last corner led to a goal. Corner on the right hand side. McNeil to swing it in from the far side into the 6-yard box, and it almost caused more confusion. Wood was in there. I think Tarkowski was in there too at the left hand post, the far post. Certainly towards Wood. Tarkowski as well. It came off Chris Wood last, and it's a goal kick for Cardiff. 68 minutes have just elapsed. Into the 69th minute of the game. And remember, Burnley win will take them to 39 points. And one within that magical 40, but I think 36 to 38 will be the magic target today this season. And then Cardiff have got a winner takes all showdown on I think it's Tuesday against Brighton at the Cardiff City Stadium, and the winners of that, wow, that could be a huge step in the season. If Cardiff lose that game, then they could be doomed. If they win, it drags Brighton down there with them. So it's important that Burnley now hang on for the next 22 minutes, because remember, the next 4 games against teams battling for the in the top half of the table, 3 of them battling to the champions for the league title and Champions League. Notably, next game is at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, and then it's Everton, and then it's Manchester City here in the next home match, and then away at Everton at Goodison Park on the penultimate weekend of the season, and then of course as Brighton, Liverpool and Fulham are the next 3 opponents for Cardiff. They'll be looking to get points from Fulham, I would suspect, but Fulham are starting to come into a bit of form despite the fact that they're relegated. But Burnley finished their programme next month against Arsenal here at the Turf. This court kicks that forward, and Arsenal are well in the mix, of course, for a top 4 spot. Had a good win against Napoli on Thursday night in the Europa, 2-0. They were very domineering, I thought, in the way that they performed at the Emirates, and they've got a good lead to take back to Naples, go to Naples for the second leg on Thursday. But here come Cardiff again, looking to ask questions of this Burnley back line. That's going to be a free kick to Burnley. Foul there by Hoylett, midway inside the Burnley half. Foul there on is it actually Westwood? Yep. But McNeil, no, it is Westwood, I think. Yeah, Westwood it is. Just remind you that Bournemouth are winning 2-0 against Brighton, Fulham winning 1-0 against Everton, Tottenham beat Huddersfield 4-0, and elsewhere we've been, and of course Southampton doing their chances of staying up, no harm at all, with a resounding, with a 2-1 lead at the moment against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that's elsewhere in the Premier League at the moment. Manchester United and West Ham face off at 5:30 in the evening. Here's Jack Cork now for Burnley, midway inside the Cardiff half. Goes back to the halfway line and asks Tarkowski to get the ball forward. Henrik just jets it out from under his feet. Now Ben Mee has it on halfway. Picks out Taylor. They've gone back a little bit here. Now Ben Mee, better back past that to Tom Heaton. Heaton kicks long, and it just about clears the halfway line, about 10 yards past the halfway line, and that's going to be a Burnley ball. About 15 yards inside the Cardiff half on the far side, Burnley's right hand side. 71.5 minutes, or 71 3/4 minutes gone, and it's Burnley 1, and remember, Cardiff City 0. Ashley Barnes in a battle royale with Bennett, and they've been at it all afternoon. And here come Burnley again, but it's knocked away by Gunnarsson, the Iceland international. No changes yet from either side. We've been playing for over 70 odd minutes. Neil Warnock is having words again. I think Cardiff are about to make their first alteration of the proceedings. And who's coming off? It looks as if, I'm just checking to see who it is. It's Mendez Lang who's come on for Cardiff, so they've I don't know who he's replaced, incidentally. We'll get that confirmed in just a second or two. It looks like Junior Hoylett has gone off there, I think. So we know it's Mendez Lang on, but we haven't had confirmation of who he's replaced. It looks like Junior Hoylett to me. It is. So my prophecies and hunches were correct. And here's a chance now for Burnley inside the area. The ball hooked in, but it's hooked away by number 4, Morrison. It's a throw into Burnley. Burnley yet to make a substitution in the match. But Cardiff have rolled on some fresh legs. Could be crucial. I think Johan Berg Gudmundsson has to come on at some point. Just balancing on that right hand side a little bit. Remember, Jeff Henrik is not a natural right winger. Burnley on the cusp of 3 successive wins. Will take them to 39 points if they manage to do it. And they've got him down the right hand side again, and the ball lifted in there towards Barnes. Mangala did really well there. But here's Lawton now for Burnley, just keeping possession here. They just don't need to do anything daft, and that wasn't the best ball really Henrik has played. I think this is why Gudmundsson needs to come on, get a bit more variation on the crosses. Henrik has tended during the match to hit them very, very low. Well, as you see, McNeil variates his crosses a lot of the time. Jeff Henrik just isn't a natural right winger, and I think this is where they need to get Gudmundsson on for me, and just add a bit more balance and a bit more variation, I believe, down the right hand channel. But Burnley in control. Taylor wins a throw in. 74 minutes of play been played. Burnley are still on the cusp of victory, albeit a slender one, as Taylor barred forward, but Mendez Lang straight in there with his first touch to tackle him. And it is a Burnley throw-in, incidentally. Southampton 2, Wolves 1, Brighton 0, Bournemouth 2, and Fulham 1, Everton 0 are all latest scores in the other 3 o'clockers. Manchester United to come at 5:30 against West Ham, a game that pits Solskjaer against Pellegrini as United battle for top 4. West Ham still have an outside chance of 7th place in the Europa League football. They lost against Chelsea on Monday night, of course. As the ball is crossed in there from the far side, it's a poor cross really from Murphy, and it's behind for a Burnley goal kick. 75 minutes gone. Burnley 1, Cardiff City 0. Chris Wood's goal after 31 minutes is the difference. Cardiff felt they should have had a penalty at the start of the second half for a handball, or an alleged handball against Ben Mee, which wasn't. They did originally order the penalty, but then after consultations, the inside linesman and Mike Dean decided not to order a penalty, which I think was the right decision in the end. But Mike Dean really did have a rush of blood. But I think if it was a VAR decision, I think they would have reversed the original decision of a penalty, because I don't think it was a penalty, because his arms were down by his side. There's a chance here for Barnes, takes it past the keeper, still Barnes, and the goal's agonisingly wide off the target. Burnley claim a corner. I think they've got it, but Etheridge there, very lucky there to get away with a second concession, as Barnes seemed right through like a steam train. Etheridge was out of his goal, and it just comes off Mangala's head, and that just saves Cardiff there as Barnes came flying in there. Yeah, just gets a touch there, the goalkeeper. In fact, that's a very good save. Probably doing Etheridge a little, probably didn't do him enough credit there, the goalkeeper. Let's get Cardiff in the game for now. McNeil takes the corner from the far side into the penalty area. Ben Mee's header saved at the far post, I think, from Neil Etheridge. It's a good save by the Filipino, keeps Cardiff in the game. Good header from Mee at the far post. That's a really good save, in fact, albeit straight at him, but he did the basics right, the Filipino, albeit a little bit acrobatically. Still needed to be saved though. And Burnley were close to a second. and still might be yet. They've got another set piece here. They've had 10 shots at goal here, and this might be a chance for number 11, and Ben Mee was in there too, and it was headed wide. It came to him a little bit quickly there, to be fair to Ben Mee. Burnley having a good spell. Goal kick to Cardiff, 1-0 Burnley lead with 13 minutes left on the clock. And number 29, Nias, the former Everton man, comes on to replace the ineffective Zahora. So Cardiff have made 2 changes now. That's their second substitution of 3. Remember, 3 substitutes are permitted in the Premier League, as opposed to 4 in the FA Cup if it goes to extra time, of course. But at the moment, as Nias breaks forward, Mendes Lang, sorry, against Charlie Taylor. Taylor winning that particular battle royale, and Burnley get the throw in midway inside their own half on the left hand side and near side as we look from the camera angles. Southampton 2, Wolves 1. They're hanging on there, Southampton, a little bit. Bournemouth looking comfortable against a very, very lacklustre Brighton side, and Fulham having a little bit of late season joy despite being relegated, leading Everton by 1-0 to 0, and apparently they have been the dominant force in the match so far. So 78 minutes have been played. Burnley 1, Cardiff City 0 in the Premier League. Goal after 31 minutes from Chris Wood, 6-yard out, couldn't miss. Poor marking from the Cardiff City defence. Burnley have a throw in midway inside the Cardiff half. The ball comes towards Taylor now. Taylor just dances around, plays the ball over to Westwood, and the ball towards the left hand side. Now Mangala up against Wood. Mangala comes away with the ball. Nice little pirouette by the Cardiff centre back, but he hooks it out of play just shy of halfway, and it'll be a Burnley throw just 2 or 3 yards inside the Cardiff City half on the Burnley left hand side. 79 gone, 11 minutes plus stoppage time left to play here at the turf. Burnley 1, Cardiff City 0. A big moment in the season for Burnley. If they can hold on, they will go to 39 points, which will be relatively safe. I can't see any team going down with 38 or 39 points this season, in all respect, and Burnley would only need a point really from their last 4 games, which are against Chelsea, Manchester City, Everton and Arsenal. Cardiff do have a game in hand incidentally, but Burnley have won themselves a free kick, I think, on the left hand side. Charlie Taylor has been absolutely superb today. Again, he's had his usual marvellous game here. Taylor, he's done everything right here. He's really done well. We've got 80 minutes now, 10 to go, and there is a substitution, I think, that's been made by Cardiff. I think if they allow the substitution, I think it's Reid who's about to come on for the Bluebirds, but it's a 3 kick taken by McNeil. Burnley yet to make a substitute. Into the penalty area it goes, and header won by Wood, but it was well plucked out at the near post by Neil Etheridge. Good free kick this. Grant McNeil's been at the hub of everything that's been really good about the Clarets today. I've been very impressed by the 19-year-old as per usual. He's had a marvellous match, and Sean Dyche now needs to get a man on, I think, on the... I think Reid is still waiting to come on. But still a lead that's a little bit too close for comfort here for the Clarets. Ariata is off and Reid is now on, so this is now or never. Can Burnley hold on in there? They haven't significantly made a substitution yet. Reid gets his first touch. Gunnarsson is 3 on that right hand side. Burnley need to be a little bit more tighter to him. Taylor needs to stay on his seat as Gunnarsson goes down. Referee says no. I think he was looking for that, Aaron Gunnarsson, I have to tell you. I think he was looking for that, and the referee wasn't going to be bought by his play acting. The ball is hooked forward by Burnley, and Brighton have had a man sent off, I believe, in the game at the Amex, so things going from bad to worse for them this afternoon. Here's Barnes now on the left hand side, deep inside Cardiff territory, and that's a foul against Peltier, who's got to be careful, of course, because he's already carrying a yellow card for dissent. Now then, is he? Now what? The book has come out here. I think well, it's Gunnarsson. It's Gunnarsson. Well, I'm just looking at it again. I think Gunnarsson does go over before Taylor touches him. I don't think Gunnarsson was going to get a penalty for that, quite frankly. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Although you have seen penalties given for less. I think Gunnarsson's been booked, presumably for dissent. Burnley have a free kick. Maybe luck's on their side as that free kick comes in. Etheridge takes the ball very confidently inside that 6-yard area. Referee was on the spot though. I felt it was play acting from the naked eye, although there was a bit of contact now having looked at it at the replay. 83 minutes almost gone. Burnley 1, Cardiff City 0. Remember, Burnley win here will take them to 39 points. But we can't really get ahead of ourselves. There's still a little bit of a way to go in this game. There's Neil Warnock's team are a lot of fighting at the moment. They will fight. Sunderland 4, Coventry City 4. Panini is giving some of the scores out, but we're concentrating on the Premier League for now. We'll have a full classified check at 5 o'clock as the ball is spreaded in there, but there's still a game to be played here. We're deep now into the last 6.5 minutes plus stoppage time. Burnley on course for 3 crucial points. Burnley get a throw in. Mendez-Lang got the ball and it came off him last, and Burnley will have a chance to waste a little bit of time, of course within the spirit of the rules and within the rules of the game. So we're coming up towards 6 minutes to go. Burnley, I don't think really need to plough any men forward, and I do think they need to make a substitution as Wood crosses the ball in and Burnley get themselves another throw in level with the Cardiff penalty area on the left hand side. This is where Burnley need that ball to be now as we go into the closing stages. Here's Dwight McNeil, full of absolute running. He's a young 19-year-old lad who's not fazed by anything at all that's thrown his way. I don't think it'll be long before Gareth Southgate really considers him for a full international cap. Here is McNeil now on the ball on the left hand side. The ball is cut out, but it falls very favourably for Charlie Taylor, and then not forward again. And Burnley are onside here from the ball forward, and Barnes holds it up. Can Westwood get there? The answer is yes. Westwood now wins possession. 5.25 minutes plus stoppage time to play. Wood has it now towards the left hand corner quadrant, and the ball comes off the corner flag, and Wood doing really well there. Cardiff struggling to clear their lines at the moment because Burnley are hunting in packs, and they might have a chance here, Cardiff, now to get the ball forward, and but Ben Mee stops any ideas that Cardiff may have had of an attack going there. That's great sensible defending. Reed leaves it to Gunnarsson now as we now go into the final 5 minutes. Southampton have stretched their lead to 3-1 now against Wolves. It's Brighton 0, 10-man Brighton 0, Bournemouth 2. Fulham have now increased their lead to 2-0. A really disappointing day down in the capital for Everton, who seem to be picking up some form with a really good win against Arsenal last week. Not to be for them at Craven Cottage, as Fulham to finish a very disappointing season with a flourish. And fair play to them. Tottenham 4, Huddersfield 0 from earlier today. A hat-trick for Lucas Moura in that game against Huddersfield. I think Wanyama got the other one. 4 minutes to go. Burnley 1, Cardiff City 0 is the scoreline here. Southampton are 3-1 up now, remember, against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Brighton limping to defeat. 10-man Brighton limping to defeat against Bournemouth, their South Coast rivals. A win for Bournemouth will make them very safe indeed, and will be playing Premier League football. Burnley are on the cusp of doing just that themselves. In 4 minutes time, if they can hold on to the lead they've got here. It's been a slender lead, but it's a deserved lead. We'll try and get reaction, of course. We'll have a full classified check at 5, and we'll get reaction from what's happened here and elsewhere in amongst the Premier League this afternoon with post-match reaction. We'll be on the air till about 5:25 this evening with the post-match reaction as well to today's matches here. Free kick to Cardiff inside the centre circle, about 10 yards away. Gunnarsson has gone down there, and I think Jack Cork's the man who's been penalised for that. And Gunnarsson just goes down in instalments again. Tries to con the referee again. 3 minutes to go. Can Burnley just hold on in there now? See it out. 3 points in the bag. 39 points. It's so tantalisingly close for the Clarets. They've just got to be disciplined. They've conceded the throw-in now midway inside their own half. And Cardiff will lay siege. They won't give up. We can criticise Neil Warnock for the way he goes around with his dirty tricks and trying to con referees, but one thing his teams do are not give up, and you can be assured of that as Mendes-Lang tries to break down the left hand side. But Burnley have got enough bodies back, and this Dwight McNeil, a young head on certainly older shoulders, but he lost possession there. A little bit of immaturity maybe, but here's Jack Cork now in the centre of the park, hits it forward. Good sensible football this now. Cork gets the return from Ashley Barnes, tries to lift it in towards Wood. First touch was a bit heavy, but he tried to take the ball forward. I think he was offside in any case. The linesman on the far side saying it was offside anyway, and Wood has been caught offside a lot longer. There's been more developments at the Amex Stadium, and it's not great news for Brighton, I'm afraid. 10-man Brighton 0, Bournemouth 3. So Bournemouth are safe. They will go to, I think, 41 points now, I think, if my mathematics is correct. And this is probably relatively good news for Cardiff, because they play Brighton on, I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday, and the winner of that one, my goodness me, will take a huge step. And if Cardiff win that game, they've got every chance of still staying in there. It's a corner to Cardiff. They're not finished in this one yet. Got a minute to go. Burnley must stay in it. They must keep discipline in defence. A clean sheet on the cards. Kept a clean sheet in their last home match against Wolves when they won 2-0. Would have kept a clean sheet for some for an own goal by Barnes as the ball is swept in again, and good defending again, and McNeil just needs to hook it away as far up the field as he can. Etheridge sweeper keeper now on halfway. Barnes looking to charge the ball down as the ball is threaded in there, and all the white shirts are forward, and a good block by Tarkowski. Corner given, they appeal handball, but he hit his chest quite clearly as far as I was concerned. And Cardiff City here completely losing their bearings here towards the end of the game, but they have a corner. We have almost played the 90 minutes. We're 3 seconds off that. How much longer will they be added on? Hits his chest for me. Hopefully not 4 minutes. I'm praying it's not 4 minutes. It's not been a 4-minute stoppage time. Oh, he's given 4 minutes. I think that's disgraceful as the ball is hooked in there, but it's a free kick to Burnley. Foul on Tarkowski, and a good decision there. But where is he? Where have the fourth official got 4 minutes from? Maybe for that. Maybe Neil Warnock really arguing and Cardiff arguing has added the time on it, and it might just help them. But we play 30 seconds of the time on. There will be a lot said after the game if Cardiff are to lose it, but let's look at it from a Burnley point of view here at this moment in time. Absolutely Anonymous says if it ends 1-0, Cardiff are staring down the barrel, but if they beat Brighton, who have lost today, they're right back in with a chance, and they've got a winnable game against Fulham. Mind you, Fulham are winning very comfortably against Mind you, they're winning comfortably against. But here's a chance now for McNeil. He's got one in the middle. McNeil's cross. Goalkeeper loses it. 1-1 score from beyond. And Burnley will seal the victory. The goal is given. Chris Wood at his second. His 10th league goal of the season. And that surely now, barring accidents, will take Burnley across the finishing tape as winners, and will take them to 39 points for the season. They needed to win the 3 games against Wolves, Bournemouth and Cardiff, and they've done so to the letter. It's been hard work at times throughout this second half, but they've got their deserved rewards. And Cardiff now will have to look at trying to get a big result at home to Brighton in midweek if they're going to have any chance of staying in the Premier League. This was a game they truly had to win, Cardiff. They just haven't done enough, and Dwight McNeil really was the catalyst here. Down the left-hand side, it was brilliantly done. Ball was crossed in, and in fact it was a big mistake by Mangala. Tried to take matters into his own hands, but he should have really left it to goalkeeper Neil Etheridge. And it was easy money really for Chris Wood to nod him from what, half a yard out? It was going in anyway, but Chris Wood just needed to make absolutely sure. 2.5 minutes of the 4 played. Burnley 2, Cardiff 0, and game very much up for Cardiff City now. 2-0 to the Clarets. An unbalanced play, I think it's been deserved. Whatever Warnock will say afterwards, whether his team were entitled to a penalty at the start or not, I think that's now irrelevant. The bottom line is they've had chances in the game, Cardiff, and they haven't taken them. And Cardiff fans have seen enough. They haven't done enough for me today really, and Warnock can protestate whether he should have had a penalty at the start of the second half or not. The bottom line is Ben Mee had his arms down by his side, and I feel the referee made the right decision in the end, although he must have had a rush of blood to the head when he originally ordered the penalty to Cardiff, but he saw common sense. So Brighton limping, 10 men Brighton limping to defeat against Bournemouth. Fulham are 2 up against Everton, and Southampton with a big win against a very good Wolves side who are seriously hungover from that Shot Cup semi-final exit to Watford last week when they blew a 2-goal lead in that game. Well, we will be getting reaction after the game from what's happening in the 3 o'clockers. We're now almost played the 3 minutes, and Burnley are on course now for 3 crucial points. Seconds remaining now. We've gone over the 4 minutes, and surely there won't be much time for anything else. As Gunnarsson comes forward for Cardiff, who will be seeking for something just a bit of more consolation as Mendes-Lang tries the shot, hits the defender. Referee checks his watch. Has Burnley come away again? He still hasn't blown, by the way, but I think he will be blown for time soon. And the final whistle has indeed gone at the turf, and Burnley have won. Burnley have won the game, and have won it so well. 2 goals from Chris Wood. Neil Warnock will have plenty to say afterwards, whether or not his team should have been entitled to a penalty. But the fact of the matter is, Burnley were the better team. They've won the game, and the huge cheers, huge roars went up around the turf as the match finishes here. Great performance all round from the Clarets, and they go off as one to a man. They've been absolutely superb. Cardiff felt they should have been entitled to a penalty in the second half when they appealed a penalty. They were originally given a penalty for a handball, an alleged handball against Ben Mee, although Ben Mee clearly had his arms down by his side. After consultations with the linesman, the referee reversed his original decision, and I think the right decision was certainly coming to that conclusion at the end. Neil Warnock is not happy, clearly not happy, but the better team won, and then Chris Wood at the end, after a mistake by the defender, pounced in from a yard out to make absolutely sure, and Burnley take the spoils on balance of play. Tom Heaton didn't really have much to do in terms of the shots, saves and everything else that was thrown at him. He didn't need to in the end, but Burnley have won, and that's all that matters really. And 3 crucial points really for the Clarets, who take the spoils by 2 goals to 0. And what a performance it has been. So the whistle's gone there. Fulham have gone into 6 minutes of time added on at Fulham, but great result for Burnley, fantastic performance, and a victory in my opinion richly deserved, although Neil Warnock will probably have a different tale to tell from his viewpoint at the end of this evening, and I don't think the controversy will end too soon either.